Keep talking. And where the tree at to hang people at? Where is that? Where is the hanging tree at?
In your backyard.
Gentlemen, can I please?
No. He just said there's a hanging tree down there to hang people like me. That's racist.
That is.
That is racist. Y'all go take his back and he's being racist?
Crying motherfucker. He's a crying motherfucker. You know what?
That is fucking horrible of you.
He's just as human as
I'm doing a job and I did not disrespect you, not once.
Oh, man. Come on. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
You, man, you know what? Fuck you and I'm not leaving. Make me leave, motherfucker, because I can't take...
I don't make trash. I burn it. That's 5th grade.
And y'all laughing at this? And y'all laughing at this? This is what y'all like? If this is what y'all like?
We love it, man. We love it.
You love it?
Get your fatty flag on, man. Come on. You gotta suck meat.
What? Gotta do what?
I'm built like a lemon. You gotta suck meat.
If this is the way that you're talking on camera to me, sir, and I never disrespected you until you disrespected me?
Oh, candid camera, actually. I'm gonna be on the 5 o'clock news. No, I'm gonna be on How
I thought you said you had a job.
I got a job.
Well, go do it.
Man, fuck you. You do it.
Oh, hey.
Just go do your job.
You do your job.
I'm doing it.
Why you people
Say fuck you to everybody.
He said fuck me because I can say fuck you too. What the fuck you mean? He's being fucking racist to me, man. Get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. Who the fuck are you?
Jesus Christ.
That's the only license.
How you doing?
He seems to know.
Are you along with them?
Yes, he is.
Okay, but why is he being fucking racist to me talking about there's a fucking hanging tree down there? Are you along with that? Are you down with that as well like him?
So, he's my dad, first off.
Ma'am, don't fucking touch me. Do y'all see this shit?
I'm not saying nothing. I'm telling you to get off my property.
Fuck you. Now what? Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Slap me, hit me. I want you to. I want you to
I
hit
love
me.
you. You're my brother.
No, I'm not your brother.
You're
Don't
my
touch me.
brother.
This is fucking racist to the most.
You're my brother.
You're wrong.
You're my brother.
You're wrong. You get out of
You're
my
my
face.
Do you understand what
You're
that
my
means? Do you
brother.
know where you are? Do you know the history of the town?
I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing anything to anybody. Y'all gonna kill me? Kill me. Kill me. Do it.
No, you're my brother.
Do y'all see? Don't touch me.
I love you, baby.
Are y'all gonna allow this shit to happen? This racist stuff? Do y'all see this at the most?
Jesus loves him. He just don't get it right now. Calm down.
Can you let me go fucking leave, please, ma'am? But but you're steady touching me.
Honey, I love you, baby.
You're steady touching me,
Do
ma'am.
you
This
have
is
a
assault.
mama? Do you have a mama?
This is an assault.
Do you have a mama?
This is,
Do you have a mama?
ma'am, can you
Do you
leave
have
me?
a
Can
dad?
you?
What are you doing
I'm
here?
doing a job.
Well,
And I'm not bothering anyone.
Well, you are now. You got everybody all upset.
But you're
baby.
touching me. Don't touch
Come
me,
on,
ma'am.
Come on.
You're touching me. I have to call the police. That's assault.
I'm taking you. He's right here. Let's go.
Don't touch me. You don't touch me.
I'm not, baby. Let's
Can you
go
leave
to
me
the
alone? Y'all gonna allow this shit to happen
Come on,
like
honey. Come on.
nobody cares? Nobody see this racial shit going on?
Wait, honey, the sheriff's right here. You can tell him all you want.
Your dad just said there's a hanging tree for niggers like me. What does that mean? What does that mean? And I did not disrespect your dad. I asked him nicely, excuse me, sir, are you a registered voter? He said no. I said thank you. And then he turned around and said there was a hanging tree down the road for niggers like me. That's exactly what the fuck he said. And all of them ganged up on me. I have it on video.
I'm so sorry that happened to you.
And everybody is going along with that shit.
White folks come out of a hostile climatology. Cold, nothing, no vegetation, no animals, no clean drinking water. He evolved in a hostile environment, which hardened him. So he don't have compassion for people. Because he grew in a context and in a climate where being compassionate may have cost him his dinner, may have cost him his life. See, in the Ice Age, it wasn't enough to go around, so they had to steal and manipulate. You understand? So he grew aggressive, he grew angry, he became a manipulator, a controller. The reason he has to control everything is the only way for him to feel secure. Remember, he's a numerical minority. He's a numerical minority. In order to feel safe, you have to he has OCD. The white man has obsessive compulsive disorder. He also has paranoid personality disorder. He also has narcissistic personality disorder. Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, but because nothing existed until the white man found it, that's the narcissism. That's the narcissism. I'm going to wipe out the entire history of America, and I'm going to start it in 1492. How can you do that? Because nobody matters but me and people who look like me. That's it. That's it. This is who he is. It is his biopsychoclimatology. It is the need to control everything in order to feel secure. And it grew out of his experience with nature during the Ice Age, where he had to cut, where he had to manipulate, he had to fight, he had to defend constantly, he had to lie, steal, cheat. That's what was needed in order for him to survive the Ice Age. And so they now simply employ those skills that allowed them to survive the Ice Age, and they use those same set of skills to dominate the entire planet.
Oh yeah, we back. We back on y'all ass. We back on y'all ass. Can y'all see this? We back on y'all ass. And guess what? We ain't gonna let up. I ain't gonna let up off y'all. I ain't gonna let up. We gonna continue to try to understand the hidden history of the Caucasian and why throughout history they have been acting like barbarians and savages. Meanwhile, they have been labeling other people as barbarians and savages. But their activity of where they have gotten in society today is rooted in barbarianism, is rooted in savagery. And we want to understand why. What would make them do this? What's the reason? Is it just because of your skin color? We're going to find out. Now let us go inside the Caucasus Mountains. Life inside the caves. Ooh, shit. We about to get there, y'all. Life without shelter. We about to see how these Caucasians were living when they got cast out of Arabia and was driven across the hot sand. Now, mind you, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the Great, he said that they were cable-towed and driven across this hot-ass sand while the indigenous bronze-skinned so-called black people were on horses. Walking, while basically they had the Caucasians walking or running. I heard some people say it was running. Made them run across the hot Arabian desert, and the ones that passed out died. They just left them there for dead. So, I mean, this was their penalty for causing all the chaos after they had been made on the island of Pelon, or Patmos, and came back into the civilized world. They started all the mischief and had everybody killing each other and lying and doing all type of crazy shit. But 6 months, they turned it inside out. And this is why they was driven. Now, let's see about this life inside the caves, y'all. We can start. Let's get it right. Life without shelter. The Caucasians began to live in the innumerable caves which nature had carved in the limestone hill. In the limestone hills. Plural, hills. Because they were living that thug life in many different caves. Thousands of the small caverns can still be found along the slopes of the Caucasus Mountains, covering an area of several hundred miles. Their openings face the north today. They are called the caverns of the northern Caucasus. Listen, their caves face the north till this day. This is why in the caves it got no sunlight. So certain parts of Europe is called Germany, because the more you go back in the caves that doesn't have any sunlight, it's dampness, moisture, bad bacterial, fungus, mold. In other words, there's so many germs. So this is where you get the word Germany from, because the origin of the name, as far as those hillsides and mountains go, was just that bad. Germany. In other words, it was so many damn germs, they just said Germ-many. Germ-many. Because it was that many goddamn germs, it was just that damn bad. It was many germs. Now let's keep it pushing. In his book, Cave Hunting, researchers on the evidence of caves respecting the early inhabitants of Europe, W. Boyd Dawkins, offers his perspective on the subject concerning the isolation and the circumstances which led them to seek protection in the caves. Dawkins writes, compelled by the pressure of some great calamity, the flee for refuge, and to lead a half-savage life in these insolent caves, they were cut off from the civilization to which they had been accustomed. A clear picture of the caves and their inhabitants is presented in the Holy Quran, in the chapter called Al-Kifa. The Quran states, and thou mightest see the sun, when it rose, declined from their cave to the right, and when it set, leave behind them on the left, while they were in a wide spread thereof. While they were in a wide space thereof. And thou mightest think them awake while they were asleep. And we turned them about to the right and to the left, while their dog outstretched its paws at the entrance. If thou didst look at them, thou wouldst be filled with awe because of them. In other words, they were some ugly motherfuckers. And in other words, the dog was the only thing that protected them and the gates, while the cavemen slept in the trees fighting off the wild animals at night. Remember, during this time at nighttime, all they had was moonlight and little specks of stars, because there was not one street light, there was no cars, there was no electricity in the caves. They was straight uncivilized. All of them was criminals. Every last one of them was psychopaths. Every last one of them developed an instinctual, narcissistic behavior. It became their culture. Kill or be killed by any means necessary. Excuse me, y'all. In addition to the small caverns, which nature had carved in the limestone slopes, the early Europeans, you see, y'all see the word Europe, Latin, EU, bind, rope, okay? See the rope in there? Because they was binded in with rope. You heard? Now, also lived in man-made holes and hollows. This is how they were living. The hollows was a simple tunnel, 10 to 15 feet deep and wide enough for a man to crawl through. It was wide enough for him to crawl through, a whole man, y'all. So you know, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Great, he said on the average height that was 6 foot. Now, at the end of the tunnel was an underground nest or den. Man, it's like some animal shit. Like the natural cave. The hollow offered the Caucasian pinkish pale people a place of refuge and safety, where he could hide, eat, and sleep. So this right here was like their den. It's like their living room, y'all. You know, for them, this high luxury. Now, continuing on, in times of bitter cold, the inhabitants of the hollow could cover the entrance with what the hell? With excrement? Wait a minute now. Just wait one goddamn minute here. Let me read that shit one more time. Because I don't think I'm getting this shit right. I'm going to read that one more time because I don't think I read that shit right. It say, in times of bitter cold, the inhabitants of the hollow, the inhabitants, meaning the Caucasian pinkish pale people, could cover the entrance with excrement or manure. God damn. They covered the entrance with shit. With shit. God damn. God damn. This was This was a popular way of keeping warm during the winter months. And you wonder why they hate this book. You wonder why they didn't want nobody getting this damn book. You wonder why it was up to like 10,000 comments of them saying racist shit when they ain't even read the damn book, because they just felt it in their spirit that it was going to reveal their hidden history. Well, goddamn it, here we have it now. Indigenous people, we never knew where the criminal mindset started. But guess what? It started in the caves. Now you can understand why they went around hanging indigenous people in trees, why they went around enslaving people, why they went around pillaging, mass genocide of indigenous people all over the planet. Now you can understand, because the criminal mindset started in the caves. It became a part of their nature. And let's not forget, when they were grafted from the original man, they were stripped of all of the neuromelanin, and they was only left with a calcified pineal gland, meaning that they were not able to tap into the cosmos, no matter even if they did raise up their cosmic current kundalini. They were shut off from God. This is why they could only do such low vibrational things. Now, let us continue. In addition to blocking out the cold air, the steam produced beneath the rotten excrement served to warm and humidify the inside of the hollow. Imagine sleeping every day smelling shit. Imagine sleeping every day smelling shit. See, now y'all can understand, during the Dark Ages, they didn't take no baths. It was the Moors that came and taught them how to take a bath, because they had been used to this shit for like 2,000 years. They had been used to smelling shit. Now, let's continue. See, it was the Moors that taught them how to screw up their nasty ass. Even some of them to this day don't wash their ass. Ancient sources indicate that keeping warm by staying beneath massive piles of stench was common throughout many parts of Europe, and that the custom was still practiced as late as the time of Tacitus. Tacitus, the ancient historian, traveled extensively throughout the interior of Europe and wrote about some of the wild tribes who still inhabited that region in his day. In his book, Germania, remember I talked about Germany? The many germs that was in the caves because they couldn't get no light, because all the caves faced the north. Tacitus said of them, they also have the habit of hollowing out underground caves, which they cover with masses of manure. Masses of shit. Shit. Do y'all hear me? I guess this shit was supposed to keep the wild animals away. See, when you gotta live like this, your back against the wall at all costs. You wondering if a wild animal gonna eat your child, gonna eat your loved one, gonna eat you. So, when you're uncivilized like this, you become an animal. He got so bad, according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Elijah the Great, he said they started crawling on all fours just like wild animals while they was in the caves. As a matter of fact, It is claimed that the men would get on top of the dog and hump the dog. The men got it from the dog after seeing the dog get on top of the woman and would screw the cave woman. This is where doggy style started at, in the cave. And now they have made this a common culture. They put it in your face every day, letting them dogs lick them all in the mouth. That's how you know they was fucking them dogs. That's how you know this history is accurate. That's how you know Paul Guthrie, this Caucasian that wrote the book, The Making of the White Man, is right on point. Cause you know they fucking them dogs. Ain't no person with common civil sense is gonna let a fucking dog lick in their mouth. And then gonna lick him back in the mouth. I mean literally. Tongue kissing the dog. French kissing the dog. Trading saliva with the dog. Nasty ass dogs. Dogs lick everything. Saliva dripping out like the goddamn mouth. And here y'all gonna come and lick the damn dog in the mouth. As if we supposed to be blind to the fact that y'all fucking them dogs. We know y'all got a long history of fucking them dogs. A long history. The shit go way back when y'all was in the Caucasus Mountains. Crawling on all fours, letting them dogs fuck them women from the back. Bestiality started in the caves with the Caucasians. That's where it started at. This according to your own scholar, Paul Guthrie, the author of the book. We know y'all been fucking them and still fucking them dogs. I seen it myself. I done seen y'all letting them dogs lick y'all in y'all mouth. This is part of the culture. Started in the caves. See, this that Neanderthal shit. This that beast-like shit. This that psychopathic shit. But y'all want to try to normalize this filthy, nasty ass shit? Do you know that these dogs be licking their own fucking nuts? These dogs be licking other dogs in the ass. Okay? These dogs don't care where they lick. These dogs humping these women. And these women letting these dogs lick them like they licked them when they was in the caves. And when I say lick, I do mean lick any and almost everywhere, if you get my drift. Okay? And they absolutely love these fucking dogs. Everybody know that shit. You kill a dog, your ass getting 40 years. You kill a human, especially if it's a so-called black person, you might get 5 years. But you kill one of them damn dogs, they lovers, your ass might get life. Because the dog would get behind the cave woman and he would go to work on her. And according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Elijah the Great, he says that they gave birth to a monkey. And this was the beginning of the monkey. This is why they say that man has like 98% DNA of a monkey. No, the Caucasian does. This is why they have the rhesus monkey gene in them, not indigenous people. According to their own genetic scientists, they saying that the only real humans are African people. That's what they claim. Not me. They claim this shit.
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Now I'm finna pull up. Jeanette, wait a minute. Watch this.
Go ahead.
Caucasians share 98% of their DNA with chimpanzees. Here we go.
Okay, now do it for Africans.
Wait a minute. We don't have Neanderthal DNA. If you want to go there, I'll bust you right down. We can talk about how your people introduced the A and B antigens to our bloodstream. We can talk about how you share 98% of your DNA with a chimpanzee, 87% of your DNA with a canine, 14% with a fruit fly, 83% with excuse me. Listen, I will bust you down. I will bust you down genetically.
Google ghost hominid DNA. Seriously, Google right now.
What are we even arguing about?
Fruit fly?
What
We're a fruit fly?
Oh,
Is that what we are?
So,
I mean, all creatures share like half of their DNA.
No, that's a white people lie that y'all keep telling the world. All creatures do not share. Let me ask you a question right now. Listen, we've grown. We're not arguing. We've grown, right? What's the first thing that you learned in science class? That a species cannot sexually reproduce with an organism outside its own species. This is a fact, right? Can we agree on that? We can agree on that. Okay. So since we can agree on that, now you have to explain to me, how did you develop the amino acids in the DNA and the proteins in your DNA of a species that you cannot sexually reproduce with? How did you become a Neanderthal hybrid? If you cannot sexually, right now, we gonna have sex with a monkey, you're not gonna get that monkey pregnant. So we want to know, how did you, Ryan, as a Caucasian, inherit chimpanzee DNA when you cannot sexually reproduce?
Well, they were close enough. Neanderthals and primitive humans were close enough. The same way a white man and a black person can have a baby. It's like they're close. They're close.
Let me stop you again. White and black people cannot naturally reproduce. Go ask any doctor. You can smile all you want. Let me send you to the hospital. Let me educate you. Go to the hospital right now with any interracial couple, and they're going to tell you that they have to get a RhoGAM shot. And what the RhoGAM shot does is it tells the mother's immune system not to terminate the fetus, because the immune system identifies the fetus as a foreign species, because these are two separate species of people trying to sexually reproduce. This is a fact. It's called hemolytic disease and red blood.
Yeah, there are problems. I agree.
Okay, thank you very much.
But anyway, let's keep it pushing. So we know where Doggy Style started. We know they was covering themselves and the interests with shit. We know they was used to smelling shit. We know they was used to smelling like shit. Remember, the Quran said if you would have saw one of them, you would have ran away in awe. Because they was hideous. Fingernails out extremely long and shit. They smelled like shit. They looked like shit. Hair was out long. They was hairy. They was crawling on all fours. They even started growing tails. Some of us know that they grow to this day. Anyway, let's keep it pushing. But they cut them off at birth. The book. What this is? Was that book 5, book 4 or something? Anyway, I ain't good with them Roman numerals. Xenophon and Bassus mentions the underground tunnels having been used in the Caucasus Mountains. Xenophon and Anabaeus goes on to say that the Caucasian pinkish pale people inhabitants once shared those tunnels with goats, sheep, cattle, fowls, and their young. In those tunnels, all the animals were reared and took their fodder. Listen up. Do y'all see the scholarship? It is absolutely impeccable. The suggestion is that in order to protect the animals from theft, it was necessary to keep them underground. Woo! Y'all hear this shit? Elijah Muhammad the Great writes, they were punished by being deprived of divine guidance for 2,000 years, which brought them almost into the family of wild beasts, going up on all fours, eating raw and unseasoned food, living in caves and treetops, climbing and jumping from tree to another, from one tree to another. You see that? Eating raw and unseasoned food. Even in Europe, when the Moors came out to teach them how to season their food. See, they still had that lingering of the cave-dwelling instinctual habits within them. Look, is this an exaggeration? Or is it an accurate characterization of an historical event? Man, you know what? I'm going to stop right there. I ain't going to even read no more right now. Because I don't want y'all to go in shock. I know Caucasians, most of them didn't already shit and went into convulsion, all type of shit. They shaking. Then it went into a whole panic attack. Some of y'all actually appreciate this shit though I'm reading. Some of y'all do. But some of y'all pissed the fuck off. And guess what? Bitch, I don't care. Because us indigenous people need to know this. Because we've been lied to for centuries. We have been reared up by an enemy. We have been reared up by a natural enemy. We have been reared up by instinctual narcissist psychopaths. And a whole heap of racist nothing ass motherfuckers. So it is a great honor that I bring to y'all. Making Another White Man by a Caucasian man named Paul Guthrie. Inspired by Elijah Muhammad the Great. Dun dun dun. And we're back. I know a lot of y'all hate it, but guess what? We are back with the making of the Caucasoid, Caucasian, pinkish pale, so-called white man. Inspired by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad the Great. Written by Paul Lawrence Guthrie. The most hated book in Caucasian society. Let us take a look on why they were sent to the hillsides in the Caucasus Mountains. Chapter 5. Caucasian pinkish pale man driven from civilization. 6,000 years ago, a change occurred in the civilizations of the Near East. The facts show that the cultures of that region underwent a change, a period of regression. At about the same time, Caucasians suddenly appeared in West Asia, in the area of the Caucasus Mountains. In the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or Elijah the Great, Elijah Muhammad the Great, it is implied that both of these events are related. In his writing, Muhammad the Great, Elijah the Great, speaks of a disruption that swept through the region of the Near East, in which was the result of dissatisfaction. In addition, he says the arrival of a new race, Caucasian, pinkish pale people, led to additional problems. According to Muhammad, the circumstances surrounding the presence of the Caucasians were such that soon it became necessary to remove them from among the people. So the Caucasians were driven away across the desert. Finally, Muhammad teaches they ended up in the hills and caves of West Asia. There they remained for the next 2,000 years. So as we can see right here, according to Elijah Muhammad the Great, it was because of their mistreatment or rebellion, or we would say disruption, that they were driven to the Caucasus Mountains. It wasn't by choice. They were forced to go there against their will. Now, Mr. Muhammad outlines all of these events in his book, Message to the Black Man. Personally, I believe that every melanated person on the planet should read Message to the Black Man. It is highly educational, and it sparks a thought of self-identity, of who you truly are, and who colonizers truly are. Anyway, let us continue. As to the disruption or calamity brought upon by the Caucasians during that time, Muhammad writes, they made trouble for 6 months, deceiving the ancient original people. He's talking about so-called black people, who were holy. But when they learned just who was causing the trouble, they cast the troublemakers out into the worst and poorest part of our planet. Describing what the Caucasian pinkish pale people had done to cause such trouble, Muhammad explains, they accused the righteous people, causing them to fight and kill one another. See, this is the shit they do. And then they play mediator. They'll play mediator. In other words, they'll try to become the judge while you're in court. When really they set the shit up. They put the guns in the community. They put you in a low level of survival because they have like a 350-year jump on you financially, economically, educationally. So you're already born in a impoverished community, most of us anyway. Then they play mediator. This is what they've been doing since the beginning. They play mediator. Violate all the laws, reestablish the laws, break every law known to man, and then sit themselves over the laws and judge every indigenous person according to the laws in which they have totally broken themselves to establish. So this is a part of their tricknology that they were taught by their father, according to Yeshua ben Pandora. He said that you are your father, the devil. He was a murderer from the beginning and a liar. He was talking to the Caucasian people. He was talking to the Caucasian Jewish people. There is no distinguishment from the Caucasian Jewish people in just a Caucasian person. A Jewish person is just attached to a religion of Judaism. That's it. It's still a form of Christianity. It's just a different branch. Anyway, let us continue so we can get down to this here troublemaker. So arguments and discord broke out between the original people, and before long, they were fighting and killing one another. These events, as Muhammad the Great states them, are consistent with the historical evidence presented in chapter 1. As to how all of this led to the driving away of the Caucasian pinkish pale people, Muhammad writes, the holy people were unable to understand just why they could not get along in peace with each other until they took the matter to the king. The king told the holy people of the black nation that the trouble they were having was caused by the Caucasian pinkish pale devils in their midst, and that there would be no peace among them until they drove these pale-skinned pinkish made devils from among them. But before the Caucasians was driven away from civilization, the king gave instructions to the people outlining the procedures they were to follow. According to Muhammad, the king said, gather every one of the devils up and strip them of their custom. Put an apron on them and hide their shame. Pretty sure that's what he's going to say. Okay, yeah, their nakedness. Hide their nakedness. Now, before I continue with this, let me say this. That's where Freemasonry come from. They put their little bitty robe aprons on. It's really just talking about how they really was in the Caucasus Mountains. Because they were just, they were made to only put up on a little small apron type of attire. And see the Freemasons walk on this hot burning sand to represent they was driven across the Arabian desert. I mean, they show the shit in your face if you understand the history. See, take all literature from them and take them by way of the desert. Don't allow one of them to turn back. And if they are lucky enough to get across the Arabian desert, let them go into the hills of West Asia. See that? They was acting an ass and they got treated like an ass. So the forerunners of trouble were rounded up, stripped of all clothing, made to wear an apron, driven across the desert, and finally released into the hills of West Asia. To ensure that they would not return, guards were placed along the hills bordering the frontiers of civilization. As Elijah Muhammad the Great states, once there, they were roped in to keep them out of paradise, to make sure the Muslims just mean one who submits to do the will of another man, or the supreme being, or the supreme man, because this Allah fella is actually a man, according to the Bible and according to the Quran, because it says that Allah shall sit as the judge on the day of judgment. That's in the Quran, and in the Bible it says that the Son of Man shall sit as the judge during the time of judgment. Son of man, not son of a spook, not son of a ghost, not son of a spirit. Son of a man, son of man. So Allah is the son of man. Anyway, so Muslim means one who surrenders their will to do the will of another man, a supreme man. Now, there we got that out the way. Let's continue. To make sure the Muslims who lived along the borders of East and West Asia were ordered to patrol the border to keep Yaqub's devils in West Asia, now called Europe, so that the original nation of black men could live in peace, and that the devils could be alone to themselves to do as they pleased, as long as they didn't try crossing the east border. Thus, shut away without proper guidance and the things to start a civilization of their own, the Caucasian pinkish pale people soon lost the knowledge of civilization and slipped into a condition of life comparable to that of the animals. They remained in a savage state for the next 2,000 years, as Muhammad states. They were punished by being deprived of divine guidance for 2,000 years, which brought them almost into the family of wild beasts, going up on all fours, eating raw and unseasoned food. Goddamn. Uncooked food. They was living that thug life. Living in caves and treetops, climbing and jumping from one tree to another. Damn. That's like some Tarzan shit. That's some monkey shit.